Okay, we're gonna react to Tortured Poets Department, the album. Let's get into it. I'm a poet, so I will probably be offended quite a few times because she calls us out. But I think Taylor Swift, let's just talk a little bit before I start. I think Taylor Swift is a poet. I absolutely think she's a poet. Like, obviously. Sure, her songs are in song form, but her writing is very much weird for songwriting. Like, there's words where you're like, how will you sing this word? And she makes it happen because she likes the word. And the way she plays with rhymes and concepts, and I just love it. I love the fact that there are songs where I have to Google words, which we're gonna do together. But yeah, let's get into it. I probably will be offended, but we're gonna analyze it together a little bit because I think she's one of the generation's greatest poets at the moment. And she's not really even doing poetry, but she is. Just because it's not stale and on paper doesn't make it any less poetry in my opinion, but I probably have a very vague idea of what poetry is, and I'll basically take anything. Like, you're smart, you're writing, okay, poet, like, we're all on board. So yeah, let's get into it. It's a long album, so we'll see how far into it. It's 2-part, and you're probably, before we get into it, you're probably asking yourself, why doesn't she start with the album that just came out? Because I'm a poet and I'm self-centered, and I wanted to start with the one that I want to start with. Also, I love the album. I don't think I've listened to it in its entirety. I also think it's more me. I've not listened to the other one, the one that just got released, The Life of a Showgirl, so we can definitely, if you want and if you enjoy this, we can definitely listen to the next one as well together. But we're not, my bad. You're gonna hate me. Hate is fine as long as you turn it into something. We're not going to listen. Like, what's happening now? She's losing it. We're gonna read it, but we're not gonna listen. A, copyright. I'm gonna be so honest with you. I don't want to be copyright striked. And B, because I like lyrics, and lyrics is something I obsess over to the point where if someone puts songs in the car in a car I'm in, and it's like rap music, that's why most rap music I really can't get into, because I'm hearing only the lyrics and I'm like, what's happening? Why are we doing this? Like, and it's also the same roundabout theme all the time, and it's not very inventive. Like, can you think of new cruelty? I feel like I've heard 10 people with the exact same way of being cruel. At least be inventive, that's all I ask. No, but I'm a lyrics person through and through. I love music, but if I don't like the lyrics, the song is almost dead to me. Alright, let's get into it. So the first one is Fortnite. So I'm going to read it off of Spotify just with the sound off. So let's get into it. Okay, how many more times am I going to tell you to get into it? Okay. I was supposed to be sent away, but they forgot to come and get me. I was a functioning alcoholic till nobody noticed my new aesthetic. I think functioning alcoholic is such an interesting term, because when I think of alcoholics, which I don't often, but when I do, I don't think of them functioning, and I didn't know this was a thing where people could drink and still function in society, like, really, really well. I didn't think that was a thing. I thought that wasn't a thing. It's very odd that works. But then again, you see people who go to university and drink so much, and you're like, how is this healthy? And then people are like, no, it's not. And like, if this keeps going, this is where it's heading. And I think alcohol and social media, not that they're equal, obviously not, are going to be one of those things we look back on and be like, oh my god, how did we let everyone have so free access to this? Like, you can order alcohol. Like, you can order a book and you can order alcohol. You can order a phone. I mean, you can order almost anything, so you're like, okay, I don't know, maybe you were left in the 1900s. Also, interesting fact about poets, they ostensibly created the concept of me, self, and maybe not the fact that you exist and that you can say me, but the romanticization of almost self-centeredness. And I started listening, I didn't finish it yet, a podcast about that, and that basically, you're welcome. We're the reason you're self-centered. And the self and the narcissism has kind of started because it's this romanticization. And I do think heartbreak lends itself to narcissism way more than being in love or falling in love. So I think if you strike a good balance, it's not a huge issue. But it is interesting that before there was you, the word you, and now there's just the word me and you and blah blah blah. But me used to not be such a big thing. The self used to not be such a big thing. I mean, even just looking at the words we have: self-care, self-development, self-help. Also self-help, I love the name, but I also hate it because I'm like, how messed up am I that I need help? But then again, alright, let's get back into it before I tangent on and on. All of this to say, I hope you're okay, but you're the reason. And no one here to blame, but what about your quiet treason? See, I don't know what treason means, and we're gonna educate ourselves together. Treason. Treason is the serious crime of betraying one's country or state to which one owns alliance. See, we're learning new words all the time. Treason. And no one's here to blame, but what about your quiet treason? We did that. Quiet treason, quiet betrayal of the alliance. And for a fortnight is like 14 days, right? 2 weeks. We were forever run into you, sometimes ask about the weather. Now you're in my backyard, turned into good neighbors. Your wife waters flowers, I want to kill her. I was with a friend when I listened to the first song on the album. She was not a Swiftie. And I love her music, but I don't think she's ever talked about killing someone before. And so I'm just listening, and we have like the lyrics propped up, and she's like trying to cooperate, which was very kind. Because as a non-Swiftie, you could probably go like, oh my god, why do I have to? But she was very cooperative. And then she's like, Taylor is like, I want to kill her. And I was like, this is maybe not the first song I should have introduced you to, but I didn't know because the album had just come out. I think it was around this time last year. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, and I think it's interesting. And I think there's an interesting part in the show You, the series, which I love and hate at the same time. It's terrifying. I love a good exploration of the bad guy, not because it justifies it, almost because it doesn't. Does that make sense? I think there's a human instinct that anything that's super different and bad, you think, oh, it's illogical, it makes no sense. No, it might be logical, it's immoral. Like, you're using the wrong word. And when you... obsessed with words. And when you use the wrong word, which is a half lie, when you use a half lie, the other half that is true doesn't get believed. That's why you need to either tell the whole truth or tell nothing. Either really look into it or not. And I'm not for extremes most of the time, but I think this happens so often, where people say half lies, but the thing with the half lie is now all of your truths don't matter. It's interesting. How did we get here? Oh, right, because I want to kill her. And in You, he was talking, the actor who was acting in You, the main character, if you don't know, it's like a serial killer show, but it's from the perspective of the serial killer. And he was talking about that it's interesting, but it's also really scary to explore the internal dialogue of a serial killer, because you don't want to necessarily humanize him, and most importantly, you don't want to normalize him. Not humanize him, but you don't want to normalize that behavior. And you don't, there's a small line between like understanding and excusing. But it is an interesting line that one gets to toe in fiction that you can't really toe in real life or in history because it is charged and because it did mean something and because there were people hurt. And so this like playing devil's advocate, not even for the purpose of defending, but playing devil's advocate to understand is just too charged. It's basically like every single debate ever where they're talking about tangible things and one person has been hurt by this tangible thing. It's out the door not because you don't have a point, not because you don't have great insight, but empathy comes before facts and pain comes before insight. Like these things just don't clash well and you just come across really weird. Does that make sense? Okay, let's keep going. Maybe we're just gonna do one song, and then if you want me to do the whole album, I will in like pieces. I don't know, because we're already at 10 minutes and we're not even into the song yet. Okay. All my mornings are Mondays stuck in an endless February. It's interesting because February is like Valentine's Day, and February it's not cold, it's not warm, like depending on where you live, but for the most part in the countries I've lived, except where I live right now, I don't know what February means. And I usually have a theory on everything. I guess if you say beginning of February, if she would have said beginning of February, I would say it's the anticipation of like, will I be their Valentine, will I not? Where will this move? Valentine's Day is, yes, it's made up, but it's also not. It's based on this guy, right? Valentine or something like that, who gave half of his coat to somebody, and then factories were like, okay, now we give chocolates to strangers or people we love. I don't know. But that's what I remember. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. So she would have said beginning of February or 13th of February. I would have understood it more. Mondays, everyone gets. It's the restarting of the week. It's the, oh my God, we have to start this again. Mondays never end in the sense of, even if you work for yourself, even if whatever, Mondays feel different. Even if I work, which I don't consider it work, even if I work on a Sunday, Monday feels different. I don't know who did the thing with the thing that made Monday this physical sensation, but Mondays always feel different. So that I get, but February, I don't. I took the miracle move on drug. The effects were temporary. I'm assuming that's a rebound. Isn't that the magical move on drug? Which is ridiculous because it warps your perception of your feelings for the new person. Like, even if you would have fallen in love with them organically, you're not. Oh, by the way, my hair is wet. It's not this thin usually. It's just wet. And I wanted to film, so this is what you get. And I love you. It's ruining my life. I touched you for only a fortnight, but I touched you, okay. Alright, well, I don't know how much interpretation this needs. And for a fortnight, we were forever running into you sometimes, ask about the weather. I wonder if the weather is a metaphor. Because I don't know anyone who's ever had interest in anyone and remembers their conversations about the weather. Like, the weather is a universal joke of a conversation starter. How's the weather? Anytime, ever, the weather comes up in a conversation with someone, I'm like, okay, now we might as well leave. We might as well go home. We might as well, like, split up and speak to other people. Like, if the weather comes up. Because the weather is obvious. Unless it's, like, really hot and really cold. Then it's, like, one sentence of, oh, it's so cold. Or, oh, it's so hot, I'm dying. But if it's, like, a continual conversation about weather, it's dead. Maybe that's the metaphor. Like, you can't actually get to anything. You're just talking about the weather. You're just having, like, idiotic, mindless small talk. Can you tell I don't like small talk? I think I've asked like super serious random questions before I'll do like a long small talk. I'd rather be like weird than have small talk, but again, a poet, I don't know if you should take that advice. But have you ever met someone who likes small talk? Have you ever met someone who's like, you know what I need more of in my life? Small talk. If you have, I'm so sorry. Okay. Now you're in my backyard, turned into good neighbors. What does neighbors mean? Does that mean exes? Like, neighbor is metaphor for exes? I also wonder how many things are actually metaphors and how many are not. Because I love metaphors. Maybe not everyone does as much as I do. But I feel like she does. Your wife waters flowers. I want to kill her. Does water flowers mean watering their relationship? I would assume so. Otherwise, this is just a lot of gardening and looking into nature. And for a fortnight there, you were together, running into you sometimes, comment on my sweater. Sweater is interesting because there's the song Cardigan, but I don't believe it's on the Tortured Poets department. I don't believe so. No. Where is it on? Is it on Lovers? No. I think it's on Evermore. Or Folklore? Folklore. There we go. Now, you're at the mailbox turned into a good neighbor. My husband is cheating. I want to kill him. There's a lot of death going on in this one. She's like, I want to kill, and then she's like, let's do this all the time. She wrote it once and was like, you know what? We need to do this more often. I love you, it's ruining my life. I love that sentence. I don't know if it's my favorite yet, but one of my favorites from this song. I touched you for only a fortnight. I love you, it's ruining my life. I touched you for only a fortnight. The only thing with songs versus poetry, the repetition feels different. Because I've heard this song, and it sounds good, but now I'm just like, you're like, okay, what's happening? Thought of calling ya, but you won't pick up. Northern fortnight lost in America. Move to Florida, buy the car you want. But it won't start up till you touch me. I think this is the Post Malone part, I'm assuming. Thought of calling ya, but you won't pick up. Northern fortnight lost in America. Move to Florida. Florida! But the car you want. But it won't start up till I touch. So that was the first song. That was Fortnite. Okay, we're gonna do as many songs as we can. And let's see how far we can go. The next one is Tortured Poets department, so we're definitely gonna do that still. And we'll see how far we go. But before I continue, if you stuck around for this long, don't forget to check out my second poetry book and my TikTok and my Spotify. The other two are getting edited, but you should definitely also subscribe and like and share if you have a Swiftie in your life, or if you have an anti-Swiftie who likes poetry. Alright, let's get into it. Next one. You left your typewriter at my apartment, straight from the Tortured Poets department. I want a typewriter. I know I'm already going to be called out so much in the song because I've heard it before, and every line I'm like, okay, so I'm a douche, we got it. I don't know why you need to attack me like this. Okay. I think some things I never say. Yeah, that's a good line. I like that one. Like, who uses typewriters anyway? I love the idea of a typewriter. Because there's something really inconcrete about concepts and thoughts and typing and writing. Writing feels far more concrete. And you get to kind of simulate the feeling of handwriting with a typer that then like physically comes up. Because there's something so weird about the fact that you connect to a piece of paper. Like, you have relationships with pieces of paper and pens. Like, you actively do. And that's weird. That's why we're all kind of insane. And so I would love a typewriter. I have so many pictures of typewriters I would love. They're ridiculously expensive though. But you're in self-sabotage mode, throwing spikes down the road. That's a good line. I like that one. But I've seen this episode, still love the show. Who else decodes you? And who's gonna hold you like me? I like the decoding, especially a poet. I think are quite difficult. I also think it's interesting because poets are writing from their perspective. And I've tried to explore other people's perspective of how it would have gone and what they think about it. And I do, explore that, but it's still me exploring what I think they would think, what they've said. And memory is not a great thing, so you don't really remember everything specifically. And so it's interesting because I do think poets have this warped idea that they're so logical and they make so much sense. And one would even think, oh, poets are just like on top of it emotionally and the emotionally healthy, whatever. Maybe not. Maybe this is just like my own fantasy about poets. But they're not. They're like ridiculous. Poets are ridiculous for the most part. Ridiculous. They're not like. They can write, and that's about it. Everything else, you'll see. I mean, I can't even drink normally without there being so much sound in the background, but that's not here nor there. But yeah, so there's this interesting idea of poets being this like. Perfect one. I have a poem in my first book that says, if I lived like I wrote, I wouldn't have to write. Which was exactly how I feel about it. Because there's not a disconnect, but it's almost like your highlighted self, but it is yourself. It's very weird, because poetry feels very much like a relationship you're having with someone, but the relationship you're having with someone is the piece of paper and the pen. And your mind and the world, I guess. Okay, anyways. And who's gonna know you, if not me? I laughed in your face and said, you're not Dylan Thomas, I'm not Patti Smith. Who is Dylan Thomas and Patti Smith? Who is Dylan Thomas and Patti Smith? Let's look it up. Dylan Thomas was a famous Welsh poet known for works like Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night. I've heard that poem. Who died in 1953 with Patti Smith, is a contemporary American singer, songwriter, poet, and artist. Did they have a relationship, or is she just name dropping them together? They didn't know each other, but they lived at the Chelsea Hotel in New York, and are mentioned together in the Taylor Swift album. I love that they add that. So they were in the same building, but they didn't know each other. Interesting. Okay, this ain't the Chelsea Hotel. We're modern idiots. I love this. There's certain sentences that I intellectually love, and there's certain sentences that I emotionally love, and We're Modern Idiots is one that I emotionally love. I don't know why. I think the concept of being an idiot is one I have constantly in mind, not just because I feel like one on occasions, but it's an interesting word. And I think there's this idea of intelligent people never feel like idiots, and I've made tons of videos about this concept, but I think it's so much part of intelligence is stupidity, which is weird, but it is. Okay, next. And who's gonna hold you like me? Nobody. No fucking buddy. Nobody. You smoked, then ate 7 bars of chocolate. We decided Charlie Puth should be a bigger artist. I scratched your head, you fall asleep, like a tattooed golden retriever. I love that sentence. But I don't love it more than Modern Idiots. Modern Idiots, so far, my favorite sentence. But you awaken with dread, pounding nails in your head. I don't know what dread is. I mean, I do, but not well enough. Dread, definition. Anticipate with great apprehension or fear. Okay. But I've read this one, Where You Come Undone. I choose this cyclone with you. What's a cyclone? Cyclone, definition. A large rotating weather system with strong inward spirals. Wait, okay, let me see if I see a picture. Oh. Okay, let me show you. This is a cyclone, apparently. Interesting. So it's basically like a downward spiral but for the whole earth. What? Okay, a powerful spinning storm that contains strong wind and rain. Wind and rain. I love wind and I love rain. I don't love wind in the sense of I love experiencing wind. Wind is one of the most infuriating things that nature has created, except everything else that is infuriating. But rain I love. I love rain. But I love the metaphor. She makes... I love it. You know, when I'm speechless, it's really good. Okay. And who's gonna hold you like me? Okay, we had that. And who's gonna hold you like me? And who's gonna know you like me? I laughed in your face, you said, you're not Dylan Thomas, I'm not Patti Smith. That's funny. Oh, that's the same line. I thought it was reverse. I thought she was saying, you're not. He was saying it from his point of view, okay. And who's gonna hold you like me? Nobody. I'm skipping the chorus. Sometimes I wonder if you're gonna screw this up with me. But you told Lucy you'd kill yourself if I ever leave. I think that is not romantic. As a poet and as someone who loves romance, I think that is the most unromantic sentence I've ever heard in the English language. That's a threat. That's not romantic. And I'm all for abstract romance. And some things can sound romantic in the moment. Which moment? If you said your life lost meaning if I ever left, you'd never be able to smile. Your smile would just be a movement of your muscles, and your brain and your body would never connect. Poetry. Wonderful. This threat. I hate it. I hate it. But she didn't say it, he said it, so it's fine. Whoever he is. And I had, let's talk about he. You're like, what? Speculating who it's about. I think you should, if I was to advise someone on how to consume art and poetry, consume it for yourself. Don't guess who it's about. Why? Not just, honestly, not even because of the privacy of the artist. Yes, that's nice and stuff, but because you're missing the point. The point is to connect with yourself. It is to hold up a mirror to your own feelings and think of who this song reminds you of. I think that's a huge thing social media has brought, is this like huge disconnection between people and their own feelings. I think it's called alexithymia. Look it up. It's basically, or don't, I will tell you. It's basically the disconnection with being able to name your own feelings. Like, you'll be sad, but you'll call it pissed. You'll be angry, but you'll call it sad. Like, you won't even know how to name them because you're not really feeling them. You're kind of always numbing yourself with the internet, with sugar, with whatever. But the internet is a big deal. And I think we do this now a lot with art. You're alexithymiaing art. It's supposed to connect to you. Like in movies, if you watch a movie and the girl just got broken up with, or the guy just got broken up with, and then they hear a song, he's not like, oh, well, I think, what's his name? The guy with the guitar? The guy with the guitar, what's his name? What? Why? I swear I know him. The one with the, like, slow dancing in a burning room. Why will it not tap? John Mayer, there we go. The guy's not like, this was so necessary. The guy's not like, well, I think John Mayer wrote this about, No, the guy hears the heartbroken song and thinks of the girl he's thinking of. That's the point. You're robbing yourself of like 99% of art, and the relationship you get to build with it is you and the art, not what it meant to the artist. You can do that later. It is almost completely irrelevant. Like, you're missing the point. And you're missing the connection. Because let's say you hear a Taylor Swift song and you think of who you think of, and Taylor Swift thinks of who she thinks of, and then one day you meet and you become friends. This is a fantasy, I know. And you're gonna have way much more, okay. to talk about with her if you have your own relationship to the song. And then if you're like, so am I correct about all of your theories? She'd be like, yes or no. And that would be it. It would be yes or no conversation. But if you have a relationship with the song, like, don't overdo it, obviously, but I don't think you can overdo it. Then you can get to be like, oh, this line reminded me of when this happened with this person, blah, blah, blah. And then she could say, oh, well, this reminded me of, or this, I wrote this with this person in mind. And you can actually have a conversation. So hypothetically, if you would even, either you have an artist in your own life, or if you would talk to the artist, you're not robbing yourself of conversation because you're not guessing what they're thinking. You're actually adding to the conversation. Okay, let's continue. And I had said that to Jack about you, so I felt seen. Oh, so she did say that. I don't think that's romantic. I'm sorry, I don't. I don't know how much it was meant, but I think it's one of the weirdest things that some people think is romantic. Everyone I know understands why it's meant to be, because we're crazy. So tell me, who else is gonna know me? At dinner you take my ring off my middle finger and put it on the one people put wedding rings on. And that's the closest I've come to my heart exploding. I think that's very cute. Who's gonna hold me? Okay, chorus. You left your typewriter at my apartment. I think there's something interesting, not just the physical actual typewriter, but you left your ideas with me. You left your grandiose promises with me. I wonder if the typewriter is not a typewriter. I'm a poet. I'm going to assume everything means not what it says. So you're like, I don't know how many metaphors she's actually using. That's a fair point. Straight from the tortured poets department. Who else decodes you? I loved it. I really love this song. It's definitely my favorite song. Okay, let's do My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys. Yeah, we'll do that one and another one, and then we'll see how we're doing with time. Oh, here we go again. The voices in my head call the rain to end our days of wild. The sickest army doll purchased at the mall. Velvets descend my plastic smile. Revolvets? What's a revolvets? I don't even know how to pronounce that. Let's look it up. Let's. You're like, why does she look like that when she has to look? A very small stream. I honestly wonder if she's like read a dictionary or if she watches a lot of old movies, because the words she uses aren't just fancy, they're like ancient. But you should have seen him when he first got me. My boy only breaks his favorite toys. I'm the queen of sandcastles he destroys. I love that. I love that sentence. I'm the queen of sandcastles he destroys. Love it. Because if you were ever a kid, which you might have not been, there's one person who builds a sandcastle and there's one person who destroys it. But then there's that one weird kid who builds it and destroys it and builds it and destroys it, and that's like all of their fun. And that one's the weirdest one. It's not the one that's building, it's not the one that's destroying, it's the one that's building, destroying, building, destroying. And you're like, do you just enjoy building that much, or do you just enjoy destroying things that are yours to destroy? It's so weird. Maybe you've not had that experience and you're like, okay, well, we know why she became a poet, because logic was not going to be the thing. Because it fits to write puzzle pieces in the dead of night. I love that. Okay, puzzle pieces in the dead of night, if I had to guess what that means, is puzzle pieces that fit together but don't look good together. Because essentially, if you have a 100-piece puzzle piece and a 100-piece puzzle thing, and you fit them together. Like, I'm sure some puzzle pieces overlap from different puzzles, but they don't look good. And because she says the dead of night, I'm assuming the dead of night means like the dark. And so they fit together, they just don't look good together, aka feel good together. You know, like there's the yin and the yang, and then there's the opposites attract. And those are not the same concepts, because the yin and the yang complement each other. Opposites attract is basically using the thing that people talk about with magnets and using it on people. Should have known it was a matter of time. My boy only breaks his favorite toys. There was a litany of reason. What is a litany? Litany? A series of repetitions for use in church services or processes, usually recited by the I was going to say club. What? By the clergy, and responded to in recurring formula by the people with the clergy. The body of all people obtained for religious duties. Okay. So there was something religious of reason. We could have played for keeps this time. I know I'm just repeating myself. Put me back on my shelf. But first, pull the string and I'll tell you that he runs. Because he loves me. Because you should have known. When you first saw me, my boy only breaks his favorite toys. I don't really get that. Let me reread that. I know I'm just repeating myself. Put me back on my shelf. But first, pull the string and I'll tell you that he runs. So, put me back on my shelf is like, put me back out in the world, like break up with me. I'm the queen of the sandcastles he destroys. Favorite line so far. Because I knew too much, there was danger in the heat of my touch. He saw forever, so he smashed it. Why did I say smashed like that? Oh, smashed? Smashed? Anyways, hopefully not a word I will have to use much. Once I fix me, he's gonna miss me. Once I fix me, he's gonna miss me. That's kind of sad. That you feel like you need fixing. Help and fixing feel very different. Because you can help someone you love, but you fix someone that's broken. Like, fundamentally broken. That's why the sentence, I can fix you, is like not a compliment. Like when people say that and think they're doing something nice. No. You're like implying they're doing really bad. And then you're like, no. They're doing really bad. So, fair. Just when I'd play again, he was my best friend. Down at the sand lot, I felt more when he played pretend. Then with all the Kens, because he took me out of my box, stole my tortured heart. I like that she's wrapping it back around, because I think she is the tortured poet. I think the exploration of other tortured poets is actually shining a light on the fact that she's one of them, because she's in the room. She might be the happiest tortured poet, and now she's very happy, so this is far more fun to analyze now than it would have been a year ago or so, or more than a year ago. I don't know what she did a year ago. My Taylor Swift timelines are not great in my head. But, yeah, because I definitely think she's including herself. Left all these broken parts, told me I'm better off, but I'm not. I'm not. Okay, let's do the next song. Down Bad. I don't remember if I liked the lyrics of it. I liked the melody, but I don't remember if I liked the lyrics. Okay. Did you really beam me up in a cloud of sparkling dust just to do experiments on me? Tell me I was the chosen one. Show me that this world is bigger than us, then set me back where I came from. This is one sentence. Not grammatically, but in my mind. This is like one breath. I have to reread it. I love it. Did you really beam me up in a cloud of sparkling dust just to do experiments on me? Tell me I'm the chosen one. Show me that this world is bigger than us, then set me back from where I came from. Favorite line so far in this song. For a moment I knew cosmic love. Now I'm down bad crying at the gym. Everything comes out. Teenage petulance. I don't know that word. Petulance, definition. The quality of being childish, sulky, or bad-tempered. Oh, me? Fuck it. I can't have him. I might just die, it would make no difference. I don't know what's with this album, but I don't think she's ever talked about death. And then this album talks about death all the time. All the time. About either killing someone or her own death or wanting to kill herself or someone wanting to kill themselves. I wonder if death was a new concept to her. Not I mean it, not oh, I wonder, no. Because usually death is the concept people avoid until they don't get to avoid it anymore, until someone close to them dies. So I wonder if that happened around the time. Which, again, I don't like to speculate about the artist, but that is an interesting thing because that is a through line through this album that has not been in others. Down bad, walking up in blood, waking up in blood. What is blood a metaphor for? Pain? Waking up in pain? Oh, the song when you're sleeping with a broken heart or something. Waking up is the hardest part. I love that John Mayer sentence. He's really good. He's like Taylor Swift, but male, I feel like. Not exactly like her, but anyways, staring at the sky, come back and pick me up. I can also review Tom Mayer, John Mayer. Let me know. Anything, request it in the comments. But please don't be ridiculous, okay? I'm not reviewing WAP. I'm not reviewing, I'm not reviewing most rap songs. There's some I would review. Not that I'm reviewing, but analyzing. Fuck it. If I can't have us, I might just not get up. I might stay down bad. Down bad, fuck it. If I can't have him. Did you take all my old clothes just to leave me here naked and alone? This is interesting because I think clothes is a metaphor for a way of processing the world, a way of stepping into the world. Because yes, your clothes are your physical clothes, but your clothes can also be the cloak of palatability of your personality and the way you arrange it. Because look, so you have your body, remember? You have a body and you dress it up. And you can either accentuate something or hide something, or to a certain degree. If you try to hide too much and you're wearing huge things, people can usually tell you're trying to hide. But it might also be your style depending on the way you put it together. And it's kind of the same with personality. That's actually a really good metaphor if that's the case. And it kind of almost doesn't matter if that's the case. Yeah, to me, art, I've said this before in my art course, go check it out. It's every Saturday until the end of the year. It's kind of not important what the artist meant because you have a completely different relationship with the art than the artist. So the artist it's like birth. I also just read a book where someone was giving that example, and I gave it before I read it in the book. And she's like, now everyone talks to me about it because no one will let it go. Anyways, so please let this go after I say it, which is birth, right? We were at birth. And it's so similar because you have a child and you have it for 9 months, you're writing the book for 9 months, you're putting the album together for 9 months, and then you release it into the world. Obviously, album release, probably, definitely a lot easier than child labor. But then people get to have a relationship with your child, and depending on where they're at, are they the aunt, are they the cousin, whatever, have a different relationship to it, and the world has a different relationship to it, and you have a different relationship to it. There's gonna be some overlap depending on how close, but that's kind of how it is, and it's a little bit like that with art, and so it's not to invalidate other people's relationship with it. And you have a better conversation if people actually have an authentic relationship with it. How did I get here? Right, the clothes. So that was my idea that the way she presented her personality to the world, he took away, and he didn't leave her with something else. He just left her with like a lot of questions about the way she viewed the world, and now there is no framework, there is no dress to dress up the palatability or the ability to be palatable with your personality. All right, let's go. Oh, my vocabulary app just gave me a word. I've not paid for it yet, so it always gives me half a word definition. But since this is a short word definition, it's given me a full one. So I'm going to share it because it just came up. Bibliophile. Someone who really loves books. Okay, let's get it back. Just to leave me here naked and alone in a field in my same old town. See, I will argue that this is the metaphor. Because she says in her same old town, and the town is like the people around her and the circumstances, and she's had this outfit that is appropriate for this town, she's had this palatability that is appropriate for the surroundings, and now she doesn't have those clothes, and now if she would wear them again, it would feel uncomfortable, because she got comfortable to new clothes, but now he took those away, and now she doesn't know what to do. I love this. Okay. That somehow seems so hollow now. They say I'm nuts if I talk about the existence of you. I think that's a really good quote for people who are heartbroken and they talk about it a lot. And then at some point someone says, hey, maybe just stop talking about it. And they're like, what? But they existed. And it's, yeah, we know. This is why poets write, because a piece of paper never talks. Hopefully, a piece of paper never talks. If you ever see a piece of paper talking, back away. What if there's gonna be like 3D pieces of paper that talk? Okay, that would kind of be cool. But that would freak me out. If I have to look at every paper and be like, are you gonna talk? Are you not gonna talk? Am I gonna write? Alright. For a moment, I was heaven struck. Now I'm down bad crying at the gym. She's also putting the parallels of like heaven and down bad, which one could say like heaven and hell. So it's these big contrasts that she's kind of clothed and naked. Like she's kind of trying to put the huge contrasts, and it almost warrants the idea of you might have, not you. Obviously, you're not him, unless you are and you know that, but I don't know why you'd be watching this video. Anyways, he was not healthy either. Like, she had the wrong way, he had the wrong way, and there's these constant extremes. Everything comes out teenage petulance. Okay, this is the chorus again. We're gonna skip it a little bit. Staring at the sky, come back and pick me up. I love that sentence. Okay, this is the bridge, and I love it. Fuck it if I can't have him. I love your hostile takeovers. I love that. Encounters closer and closer. All your indecent exposures. How dare you say that it's... I'll build you a fort on some planet where they can all understand it. How dare you think it's romantic? Leaving me safe and stranded. Favorite line. The first one breath line that I talked about earlier, and then this one. Favorite lines from the song. How dare you think it's romantic, leaving me safe and stranded. And she does something really, really well. Because I also talk about love letter tutorials, and I have a video up, and you're gonna also have one for February, because it's Valentine's Day. But you have it beginning of February in prep for Valentine's Day, but you can also write love letters to yourself, obviously. But what she does really good, really, really well, is the exploration of intention versus reception. Like, how dare you think it's romantic? So he does think it's romantic, leaving me safe and stranded. Not leaving me lonely and cold. I mean, she could have also said that. But again, I think the evolution of a writer is not poet, not fiction, speaking about here, is the acknowledgement of another side. And I think at the beginning, like, her first couple albums was almost no acknowledgement of the other side, which is par for the course of the age she was at and par for the course of the writing style. You need to find your voice before you can find your voice interpreting other people's intentions and voices. But I think it's interesting. Okay, chorus. Waving at the ship, fuck it if I can't have him. Like I lost my twin. Fuck it if I can't have him, I might stay down bad. Waving at the ship. Fuck it if I can't have him. Waving at the ship. Does that mean he's like on Titanic and he's like gonna die? I don't know, she talks about death a lot, okay? It's not weird that I bring up death once, okay? I get points for you know what I'm gonna let die? That sentence. That sentence is welcome to die. So we did 4. We did 4. Should we do So Long London? Should we do 5 or should we do 4? What should we do? Okay, let's do one more, and then we're gonna be at the hour mark. So then if you want a part 2, let me know in the comments. Obviously, I would be so up for it. Okay. I saw in my mind fairy lights through the mist. I kept calm and carried the weight of the rift. I also love that there was a song called London Boy and Cornelia Street, and that this London theme keeps going. And I definitely think if Taylor Swift wasn't American, she'd be British. You know what I mean? Like, it does feel like her culture. The same with Tyla, if she wasn't South Africa, right? Sorry, I really don't know it well enough, but she'd be from Brazil. And if, who else do I have this theory about? If, same with Beyonce, I feel like if she wasn't from where she was from, she'd be from Brazil. Like, that vibe, the culture, just seems like they would blend well. Who else? Maybe it's also just shallow and I'm going off of looks, but I don't think so, because I don't think Taylor Swift looks particularly British. It's just the vibe of the sense of humor and the way she speaks. Who else do I feel this way about? I don't know if I feel that way about anybody else. If you feel that way about somebody, or you found out where they're from and you're like, huh, you could have also been from, leave it in the comments. Alright. Pulled him in tighter each time he was drifting away. My spine split from carrying us up the hill. Wet through my clothes, weary bones caught the hill. I stopped trying to make him laugh, stopped trying to drill the safe, thinking how much sad did you think I had? Did you think I had in me? Oh, the tragedy is so long, London. You'll find someone. I didn't opt in to be your odd man out. Love the sentence. I founded the great club she's heard great things about. Who's she? I hate and love at the same time when people say she or he and you're like, who? When? Who? I left all I knew. You left me at the house by the heath. I stopped CPR after all. It's no use of the relationship. Like, I stopped trying. I stopped breathing into it, giving energy into it, because there's no use. I would assume that's what she meant. The spirit was gone. We would never come to. And I'm pissed off. You let me give you all that youth for free. Can we talk about youth? It's kind of a random concept. What is youth? Except these 3 things. And you're probably going to be like, no, it's these 3 things, Anna. Naivety. Not naivety on purpose, but just you don't know that much yet. Looks. And learning. Can't you supply those other ways? Positivity, Botox, and learning. And I'm not for Botox, and I think it's I am being a little bit reductive in my explanation of looks. Like, of course, it can also be skincare, and of course, you can also just age gracefully. But I think this the youth obsession at some point, like in probably like 10 years, will die down because people will just have manufactured youth. I think it will become something that's kind of obsolete. I don't know, maybe I'm completely wrong. And maybe there's something else to youth that is not those three things. But I don't think so. For so long, London, stitches undone, 2 graves, 1 gun. They both like died in this relationship. Also, how many more death metaphors is she gonna give us? They both died in this relationship, but he was the one who killed it. I find someone, and you say I abandoned the ship, but I was going down with it. Relationship, ship. But I was going down with it. Mine white-knuckled dying grip. Like she really tried to hold on to it. Holding tight to your quiet resentment, and my friend said, it isn't right to be scared every day of a love affair. Well, it's quite sad. Quiet resentment. Is there any other? I think resentment by nature is quiet. Because if it wasn't quiet, it would just be communication. Every breath feels like rarest air. That's like when you're holding on for dear life, and there's something so weird about thinking something's just about to end. You value it more, but not in the sense of, oh, I'm enjoying this is gratitude, but in the sense of like holding on, and it's like when, this is a very minor example, this is like when you're on a phone call and you really want to talk, and you can tell they have to go, and so you keep asking questions and you keep like trying to drag on this phone call, even though you will call them again. But there's something about dragging on a phone call because you're like, I'm not ready for this conversation to end. Or when you're hanging out with a friend or whatever. And this is a very minor and not important, but not grand thing. But it can obviously happen in bigger scale, like an end of a relationship. Okay, let's wrap it up because I have to go eat lunch. When you're not sure if he wants to be there. So how much sad did you think I had? Did you think I had in me? How much tragedy? Just how long did you think I'd go before I'd self-implode, before I'd have to go be free? This is interesting. I think he might have insinuated, or she might have felt that this was almost a little bit self-imposed because she explores the idea of being heartbroken a lot. She doesn't like being heartbroken. Who for goddamn does? But she explores it so much, so maybe there's not an incentive, but there's less of a reluctance to drag it on. And she might even talk about it differently than someone who doesn't explore it, who's just like, this sucks. And her almost intellectualizing heartbreak might seem like it's something that can be sustained longer, but it can't. You swore that you'd loved me, but where were the clues? I died on the altar waiting for proof. You sacrificed us to the gods of your bluest days. Oh! Like you sacrificed our relationship for your depression or emotions. Not depression, but like emotions. Which tangibly probably looks like, I'm in a bad mood, so you have to be in a bad mood. And then we're all collectively in a bad mood forever. And I'm just getting color back into my face. I'm just mad as hell, because I love this place. For so long, London. Had a good run. A moment of warm sun, and I'm not the one. So long, London. Stitches undone. 2 graves, 1 gun. You'll find someone. I think it's an interesting, she usually doesn't say this, where she's like, you will find someone. But again, I think it shows the growth and the exploration of that. Of the aging of heartbreak and how at different ages heartbreak feels the same but looks different. And sounds the same but uses different words. That kind of vibe. Anyways, go check out all of the things in the description and don't forget to subscribe. If you enjoyed this as much as I did, which I really hope you did, then request a part 2 and I'll definitely do a part 2 and a part 4 and part 5. I would love to get through the whole album, but at this pace this would be quite a series. which I'm up for. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you stayed this long, congratulations. Okay, I'll give you a word because I love when YouTubers do this. I'll give you a word so we know that you stayed all the time. That you stayed all of the time. The word is oh. Okay, I don't know. What is the word? Silence. Aggressively interesting silence. Okay, I guess it's 3 words. Aggressively interesting silence is the word. Leave it down below. I'm excited to see if anyone stuck around. I hope so. Bye.